The best music for hard-working people. Get the job done with Radio.
And now your feature presentation.
Hey there, rockers! Welcome to Bands, the Good, Bad, and the Ugly with Dr. Dawg on the show where we get real about the ups and downs of band life. Your host, Dr. Dawg, is locked and loaded. So let's do this.
Dr. Dawg here, welcoming you to Bands, the Good, bad, and the ugly, bringing you the ins and outs, ups and downs of band life. So let's get to it. Let's rock and roll.
The song you just listened to was We Are Lords by Lyia Meta. And Lyia Meta is the doctor's guest. So Lyia, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Was very, very excited to get on this interview with you. Looking forward to it for the whole week.
Oh, you know what? It's a doctor's honor. I've been looking forward as well. So, Lyia, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Well, I'm a singer, songwriter, and a visual artist, and a live circuit performer. So I've been performing for many years in the live circuit, from clubs to pubs to holding residencies in hotels across the peninsula. So I've done it all. And I've only recently, I would say I'm pretty new to the independent music scene, in the sense where I put out my own stuff. So I'm pretty new because I only started it in 2016. So that's kind of young still compared to a lot of people out there. But yeah, that seemed to be the right direction. So that's essentially who I am. And I also recently started writing for an entertainment magazine where I support independent musicians.
That's cool. I like that. You know what's impressive is your residential stays. I don't think I've talked to too many artists that say they get booked in for a month at a certain venue, hotel, resort, and then you just go to the next one, and then you go to the next one, and that's phenomenal. That really is, because that doesn't really happen to us. The first time when you said that to me, I was thinking of Aerosmith in Vegas, because I went to go see them there, and I'm thinking that's a residency. I said, "Damn, that's cool. That's really cool." So,
that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. So Lyia, tell the doctor, through your journey and your experiences, what are some of the sacrifices you've had to make to get to where you are now? And the second part would be, do you think they were worth it?
Okay, I guess the first thing that I would think about would be that the sacrifices my family made for me, actually, because it's very easy to fall into a pattern whereby you work from. I consider working in this industry as holding a day job, like a 9-to-5 job.
Right.
So everything is so settled. You just know where you're going to go next. But when I decided to do my own stuff, I kind of threw a spanner into the works, and everything kind of became, is that the right phrase? Throwing a spanner in the works? Is that the right phrase?
Yeah.
I turned everything topsy-turvy, and all of a sudden people didn't look at me as just a cover artist anymore. They saw me as doing independent music. And so I didn't always fall into what they were looking for. And so we had to forego a lot of jobs because of that, because I decided that I wanted to do my stuff too.
Right.
And to find that middle ground, I had to compromise, but initially those were the sacrifices I made. And of course, you don't get to see family the way you want to see family, because if I am stationed in a hotel right up north, I would be away from home for months on end, and all my residencies usually lasted for months. So I will be signed to a residency for 3 months, and then they hear what we had to offer before the contract even starts. They sign you on for 6 months more, so that they are sure they'll have this band there. And we were always giving good music, and I think primarily it was about us being really disciplined that got us to stay in the residency for a long period of time, because we didn't give any problems to the management. And the sacrifices we made was not being able to see family, or like mom, or the extended family and stuff like that. So those were the little things, but overall, I try to accommodate everyone, just like you would if you worked in the office. I try to accommodate everyone and make sure that there's a balance in our lives, so that we don't lose out on anything, because after you leave the music industry, if you leave the music industry, you're going to have to still go back to the life that was, right?
Yes,
So,
yes, you do.
so yeah. So you don't want to, you need to find that balance so that everything is still working in the background, everything is still working. So if you jump into your, if you jump into that life, it doesn't seem like it was stuck
Right.
10 years ago, like you were, left things behind. And yeah, that's what. But not many sacrifices, I think, because like I say, I made sure I found a balance.
But you did have a huge sacrifice, which is you gave up your residencies and paying gigs to do your own music. And in a lot of the artists I talk to, money is non-existent. They don't make money. And here you are making
Yeah.
money, and you're guaranteed 6 months, a year of paid gig. Even if it's at one place, that's a guarantee of money coming in, where
Yeah.
95% of the bands I've interviewed, that's non-existent. Okay. Think about this. Your song on Spotify, and they pay, and this may not be accurate, so don't say, well, you're wrong, but it's like 0.00047 cents per stream. Now
Yeah, I know. They don't.
think
Yeah, I
about
know.
that.
I know. Being an independent artist doesn't pay anything. It
No.
is just it is just for the love. It's just for the love of doing music. All right. It's
Well,
just for the love of doing music. And I've been pretty lucky doing these residencies, because the truth is I've not held a day job since I left my day job to pursue
that's
music. I've not had to do a day job, because I've always been, both me and my partner have always been very consistent about making sure we get a gig before the other gig ends. We make sure we get another gig lined up, or we get like 10 gigs lined up, possible gigs or leads that will ensure that we'll just jump from a job from one to another. But in saying that, I've also had situations where I've not worked for 6 months on end, simply because I don't know, is it the stars were not in alignment? It just didn't work out the way we wanted to work out. But from the get-go, we always were aware of the fact that if you want to be in the music industry, you have to be prepared to work 6 months out of a year and not work the remaining 6. I
right.
mean, that's how I used to look at things. That's how we used to look at things. And so we saved up for the rainy day. And it came and it went. But I've also had my good days where I would work for continuous years, from residencies to residencies. But how very good it may be, if you are a person who is creative, extremely, I mean, you are creative, and you need to say more through your music, being in that circuit can be stifling.
Yep.
It's very stifling. So we made that, they didn't tell me I couldn't do my own work. I just didn't become another band. I all of a sudden had this name, like, okay, so she's Lyia Meta, and she's got a couple of singles out, or in the beginning she had a couple of singles out. She's got 2 albums out. Then they look at you differently, like, should we actually employ her? I mean, she's not going to just be the band.
Right.
That's the resident band. So do we do this? Is she going to charge more? How about, is she going to bring more fans? Are there going to be fans coming in, more listeners? That sort of thing, that you had to deal with.
Yep.
But largely, I didn't have that in a lot of places, just a couple of places.
Well, I can say you were blessed. You were definitely blessed, and being in residency, especially after you get done playing and it's all over with, and you go up to your room. Here's something dropping at you right now from Lyia Meta, which is Slumber.
Deep inside I feel Darkness creeping in, suffocating light. I surrender sight, 'cause I hear the cries at night and sent my darkest fear. Defeated, still within my reach. I hear you call to me. Darkness all around. I plead for sweet relief. Fire's burning at my feet. My battle rages on, 'cause I hear the cries at night and sent my darkest fear. Defeated, still within my reach. I hear you call to me. From the depths of my despair do I rise. From this slumber I hate, when I hear your voice call my name, do I rise? No longer do I feel despair from deep within, succumbing to your will. Will I face this sweet release? 'Cause I hear the cries at night and sent my darkest fear. Defeated, still within my reach. I hear you call to me. And I rise, I awake from the depths of my despair. Do I rise from this slumber I hate, when I hear your voice call my name? Do I rise?
Great track. That was a great track.
Thank you.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You know, all artists and musicians and bands have faced rejection or criticism in one form or another. So, how have you used that to fuel your determination to move forward?
When I first started putting out my own music, initially everybody was like, wow, she's doing her own stuff. Finally, we've been telling her to get her own stuff out there. Why sing covers? And especially when I had visiting patrons from abroad, because it's doing your own music is really big abroad, like, in America, in UK and stuff like that, Australia. But it's not really very big here, especially in the circuit the circles that I was moving in. So when I first started doing it, it was fine. And then the rubbish started coming in, and people will tell me, well, you can't sing at all. You can't sing, you know. Why do you sing that way? I mean, why does every song you sing sound like the same? Then this was the situation. If you were a cover band, now if you sing Elvis, you better sound like Elvis. If you sing Bruce Springsteen, you gotta sound a little bit like Bruce Springsteen.
Right.
But I sounded the same with all the songs that I sang, because it was me singing the songs. And then they will say things like, so why can't you write like Ed Sheeran? I mean, why are your songs not like Ed Sheeran? You should write like Ed Sheeran songs, and maybe people will listen to your music. And I've had people come up to me on stage and say, tell me in my face that I can't sing for nuts. I can't sing for nuts. Or better yet, I think the one that made me really laugh the most was, are you sure you are singing? Because I'm always very, very, very aware of my pitch when I'm performing. I'm always very careful about my pitch. So I'm not saying that I sound good, but I'm not all over the place when it comes to performing live. And this guy walked up to me and said, you are lip singing to a track. I said, how do you want me to lip sync to a track? Well, and he got really upset. So he came on stage and we started a song because we didn't want to engage him, because then it will get ugly. So he was really upset that I cut him off, and we started another song. So I started singing. He came on stage and he yanked the mic away from me, and then playing, and there was no vocals. And then he realized what a dance it was, because I was obviously singing. He took the mic away from me, and then he told me as he walked off, because people started jeering at him and telling him to get off the stage. And when he walked off, he said, he told me that he's never going to come and see me sing again because I'm a fake. So I just, but those things, now I can look back at it and laugh. But at that time, I was like, I was really upset, because I put a lot of work into my shows, and I was really upset. But that's the kind of thing. So what made me work harder was all these people who had a lot of negative things to say about me. Although I appreciate all the positive things and the encouragement I got from a lot of people out there. It is the people who didn't believe in the work that I was doing, didn't believe in me, and thought I was, I get insulted a lot on stage because of my contralto. Some people will even say that I was my biggest, before I go further, some of my biggest supporters come from the LGBTQ community. I don't know why, but I'll get insulted and they'll say, like, that's not a woman on stage. Because of my contralto. So I have no idea why. But those are the things that made me feel the desire for me to keep getting better at what I do and just keep putting more music out there.
Right. I want you to know, while you were talking, when the doctor was laughing, it's good to look back, like you said, at something and be able to laugh at it, because you proved them wrong, number one. And that's why Doc was laughing, because they're idiots. But at the time it happens, it does affect you. It does make you think things. And anybody that tells you different, because, you always look at it as, not everybody's going to like my music. Not everybody's going to like my voice. Not everybody's going to like what I play. And that's a given. You can never say everybody's going to love what I do. Okay, because if you say that, you're a fool. Okay, you're a fool. And we know that, right? So, But when you hear it, and especially when you put so much of yourself into it, and then you hear that, that's bad. And what's even worse, when I'm listening to you talk, is that a lot of times you get these whatever comes out of the woodwork on the internet, and they can say all they want to say because they're not face to face to you. Well, shit, you had people face to face to you telling you this stuff, I would have
Ah.
just out of disrespect to me, I would have knocked him out if it was me. Just knocked him, floored him right then and there. Say boom, and just say, hey, that's just because you're so disrespectful, I mean, and then to yank the mic, I would have shoved that mic stand, where what I would have shoved that mic stand up his,
Oh, yeah.
because
I know.
But it shows you're a professional because you controlled yourself. You didn't want to make a situation worse, and you knew, the audience knew, you weren't lip syncing, you weren't playing to a track. He was just a freaking idiot that when he found out he was so wrong, what else is he going to say to you? Other than which I would have, I apologize, but I would have never been up there taking the mic out of your hand anyway. But see, it just shows that there's people that they're psycho. That's all I can say is they're psycho. And
yes, psycho. Yeah, you can't please everyone. I know that you can't please everyone, but that's just the way it is. After a while, you get used to it.
That's extreme, though. If you get used to people doing that, that's extreme.
Oh no, I've had. I'll be serious. I seriously tell you, I've had even more extreme cases, but I try not to talk about it because then it gets pretty ugly, and it is. But generally, on a whole, I've had a very, very supportive audience all the time.
Right.
But there's always that one odd apple that would have spoiled the day. There's always that one odd guy. Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Believe me, there is, and I've come across a lot of those. Believe me, it's no surprising. So, here's Lyia Meta with "Uptown Tonight."
Put on your black tie, shine up your crocodile shoes. I slip on my Tiffany dress, the one that hugs every curve and follows every move. Add a few diamonds and a string of the finest pearls. Well, people might stare, but I don't care if it rocks the world. We look like the cover of a fashion magazine. The flash of the cameras we step out of our long black limousine. We're going uptown tonight. Penthouse club above the city lights. Champagne and carry on. Well, everybody knows who you are. All the stars are out tonight. Even the ones in the sky. We're going uptown tonight. Uptown, yeah. No reservations. Our table is waiting inside. Two crystal glasses, some Dom Perignon. Yeah, we're living up the good life. The crowd is hot, the music's loud. Well, everybody's feeling alright. It's 2 a.m., there's no stopping. This party's gonna last all night. Everyone who's anyone is making the scene. The diamond light is magnified. It's a 24-karat dream. We're going uptown tonight. Penthouse club above the city lights. Champagne and carry on. Well, everybody knows who you are. All the stars are out tonight. Even the ones in the sky. We're going uptown tonight. Uptown, yeah. I never thought I'd live a life like this. If it's a dream, don't wake me up, 'cause I don't wanna miss going uptown.
That's where the doctor wants to go. Uptown Tonight. That was a great song. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
So Lyia, tell the doctor about the hardships and the sacrifices you've had to make, to get to where you're at. And we've talked on certain parts of that subject, but not so much the hardships and the sacrifices. You know, we know about being away from family and being someplace for a long period of time, but you know, there are hardships and sacrifices that go deeper for us as musicians that are on the road than just being away from family. It's you know, it can be lonely, it can be frustrating, it can be chaotic, it can be a lot of different things. And so tell the doc about some of those hardships and sacrifices you've come across.
Hardships and sacrifices depends on each person and how they, you know, what they think is hardship, what is hardship to them. For me, everything has always been rooted in family. So for me, my nucleus is my family. And so the hardship, I would say, is not being able to give them what they want, because initially I was putting a lot of my money into getting my work done. And they had to make a lot of sacrifices in the sense where, well, without getting into, because it's just not the Asian way, I suppose, without getting into how ugly it can get, there were times where we didn't even have two cents to rub together to get food on the table. That's how bad it was at some point. But everyone thought I was doing really very well, really well, because they see what they want to see.
Yes.
And because you have already built yourself up to a certain level where you've got a couple of, you've got international footprint, so to speak, and your work is heard across independent radio stations, you got reviews, you got stuff like that. They do not understand that most of it doesn't pay off at all. And so I've had times where we've not been able to put food on the table. And I mean it in the most literal sense.
Yes.
So, and then we had to choose between the food and the bills. And I've had to hit up some family members to help me along the way to plug in all the holes as we were leaking. And as a stopgap measure, I started picking up visual art because I said, okay, I could then paint also. So let me try this, and we could do that. Because portraits, you know, it's sold easily, and that helped me, you know. But when you talk about like the really dark days, I think my fear has always been not being able to look out for my family, because I and my partner are the only breadwinners, and so everything falls on my doorstep. You know, I cannot afford to not work. I have to work. You know, so it's hard, and it is maybe not the Asian way, or maybe it's not my way, but I don't talk about these things to people. Go to the club and say, hey, I'm really having a bad streak right now. I would need a couple of jobs. Could you line up a couple of gigs for me? I won't do that.
No.
And another thing I won't do is, if I walk into a gig and I find my friends singing on stage, I'm not going to hit up the A&R manager. I'm not going to go and speak to him and say, hey, could you give me a slot? I'm not going to do that. They've got families to feed. So if I hear along the grapevine that there's an opening, I would go for it. But I won't go there, undercut my fellow musician, which a lot of them do. I won't say, you know, could I, you know, offer my services I'll give it to you for half the price. I don't do that. I keep my brand. I keep my market price. If I'm good enough, you employ me. If I'm not good enough, it's just not meant to be. So I'll work things out in some other way. But I won't take somebody else's job or do underhanded stuff to make ensure that I'm always doing well. I won't do things like that. That's just not me. That's not us. So maybe that's the ugly truth about being in the industry for me.
Well, all the doctor could say is that you're a very amazing individual. Um, and the love you have for your family almost brings me to tears, to be honest with you. It just is heartwarming. It really is. And, a lot of musicians, a lot of artists, they struggle and they have to make those choices of, I've talked to some that say I've eaten rice or ramen for a month so I could put my money into the bills and into recording. And, family always has to come first over everything. Always. You have to have food and a roof. If you have that, then you can take the extra money and put it towards your music. But you have sacrificed a lot. You really have. And, we don't need to go in any further. Because I imagine we could. I imagine we can get down really to the deep, dark, nasty stuff. But, there's no reason to, because what you already said pretty much says what it's like to be an artist that loves their music and loves their family and has to make choices between the two. And again, I applaud you for the fact that, instead of when you had your residencies, instead of saying, okay, I'll still be cover, but I'm going to throw in my songs. So you keep that same crowd, everybody's still coming, and then slowly bring it in. But you basically just said, I'm done. I'm done being somebody else, playing somebody else's stuff. I'm going to do my own. And again, that's phenomenal, because it takes bands a long time to do that, to get that following of saying, hey, I can be me without playing covers or whatever, for people will continue following me just for me. So I give you the highest kudos that I can give somebody, because, you really show the dedication, Lyia. You really, really do.
But I still do covers. I mean, I cannot alienate my fan base at all. I still do covers, but I've learned over time that I want to leave this world. I mean, we're all going to leave this world. I want to leave this world knowing that I've left something behind, rather than just being like, oh, do you remember that she used to do? I want to be able to do. I want something else, for myself. Yeah.
Well, you want to be remembered for your music, not the way you sang somebody else's music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's all artists, all bands, all musicians. That's what their strive is not, I don't think they just want to be remembered for the music they put out, that they put their hearts and souls into. So we're going to flip a switch here, Lyia. We're going to flip this switch on you. So let's talk about the relationships that you have with other indie artists and the support that exists.
Okay. When I first started, I had zero support from independent artists. They didn't consider me an independent artist. I was like this weirdo with a weirdo voice, and they didn't think that I fitted the idea. Or you see, that's what's amazing about being an independent artist. You realize that there's also a template that you have to fall into as an independent artist. You have to sound in a certain way. At least I'm talking about here. You have to sound a certain way, look a certain way, behave a certain way, have a certain lifestyle for you to be considered an independent artist. Now, for me, I could have gotten it wrong, and I probably did. But I felt an independent artist was someone who did their own music, wrote their own stuff, looked however they wanted to look. They can look like your grandma, but they still did their own stuff. Now, that for me was an independent artist, but I didn't fall into that. So I didn't get any support from the independent scene here. I was like this, like they couldn't put a finger on me. Why was she here? What was she doing? So I got better support from the independent artists abroad, mostly America. And that is why. And they, like, the song Slumber that you played, everybody thought it was shit. Like, what the hell is she trying to do with that song? Like, shit. And then, I'm sorry for the language. I don't
No,
usually
that's
speak this way.
no, there is no language barrier. You can say whatever you want to say.
No, they said that it was it's such an awful song. And I was persistent about pushing that song through from my debut EP. And when it reached a few radio stations, they were blown away. I'm doing something right, probably, if they are playing it and they are saying nice things about it. And it proved to be the dark horse from the EP. But what I'm saying is, I didn't get any kind of support from the independent scene here, and I still don't get any support from the independent scene here at all. I get support from the independent scene abroad.
Okay.
They are very supportive and they're very welcoming, and they appreciate what you do and where you are coming from, what you bring to the whole ecosystem, the independent musician, the whole music scene. They appreciate it. Whether they like it, it is not the point, but they appreciate you and they want you to be a part of what they are, you know?
Well, oh, I do. But see, this is the confusing part for a lot of individuals that aren't familiar with the music industry, especially independent artists. When you say indie artist, they relate it to indie music. Two different subjects. Okay, indie music is indie music. Independent or indie artists are independent artists, and people get confused with that. So they're thinking, well, this is an indie band. You know, it's not an indie band. This is an independent artist. So
yes,
so that sometimes gets confused because I've heard that multiple times. It's like, well,
yeah,
you know, this is not an indie band. It's like, no, it's not an indie band, asshole. This is an independent band. You know, I mean, come on, seriously. You know,
yeah.
You know, we stress that a lot, even though we play indie, you know, independent artists or indie artists. It's we also state at times this is independent artists. Get it? Independent, not indie. So freaking idiots, I think. So spinning on the turntable now from the Doctor is "Without Walls" by Lyia Meta.
I'm thinking of yesterday. She'll find a way. Then everything I remember would stay. 'Cause life without walls feels like it's love. We're bending rules and skipping stones. Gave me birth. Promises that came undone. We played it from the start. 'Cause life without walls, it feels like it's love. We're bending rules and skipping stones. Know your worth. 'Cause we for
Oh my gosh, I tell you. You know, one thing though, Lyia, and this is something that, and I just did this in my last interview. I hate to do this, but I think the support from independent artists to independent artists, what I see on social medias, and listen very carefully, guys out there, all the independent artists, is shit. Okay, you don't support the radio stations and the people that play you. You don't support each other. Your fan base doesn't even support your asses. So when I hear you tell me we're a big happy family and we support each other, well, fuck, maybe like 6 of you support each other. But other than that, where is your fan base that you tell me supports you? Why aren't you supporting other artists, especially like Lyia Meta? Okay, even though you may not know her, even though you may not like her music, she's an independent artist. And if we don't support each other, then we're screwed. If you don't support the people that support you, all the radio stations, all the radio shows that play your music for free, if you don't support them, what's going to happen to them? Okay? If you don't support each other, what happens? Who loses? Are you so afraid that Miss Lyia Meta is going to take your fan base from you and to hers? You're idiots. Okay? There's 80 billion freaking songs out there. You think that they're, hoarding them and protecting yourselves is bullshit. And I'm sorry, Lyia, for going on like this, but it's really, it's a touchy subject for me. And I truly believe that. And I've even said, prove me wrong. Okay, out there, all you independent artists, prove me fucking wrong about support. And I will kiss Magpie's ass. How's that? Okay. Because it's, fuck you, Magpie. Because I don't believe it until somebody proves me wrong, then that's the way it is. And I apologize, Lyia. I do. I came out of the walls with that one. All right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's okay. But since we're on the topic, I will say though, I don't get involved in a lot of things because I really have to, it has to really resonate with me because I've come to a point where a lot of things I cancel a lot of things out from my life so that it gets less complicated. And I took on this recent job. It's not a job. It's not a paying job. It's it's done voluntarily to write for this independent music magazine that's Lazy Indie. And I have a column there, and they are so far what I've paid attention to and noticed, they are very supportive of independent music, independent artists. So that's why I say it's very rare to get people who want to support independent artists and they themselves are independent artists.
Yep.
And they go the extra mile. So yeah, just want to say that.
But it's rare. I mean, it's rare. And
rare.
Believe me, like I said, the MM radio gains nothing by your guys' support for each other, other than you guys supporting each other. And the support that we would like to see, which again, I mean, we have some great followers. Don't get me wrong. There's some great people out there that follow us and that are real loyal. But, in general, it doesn't exist. And I never wanted to believe that when I started this. I never wanted to believe that. And I always told my producers, you're wrong. And unfortunately, they're right. And I think it's wrong.
Right.
And I have to say something, because whether it does anything or not, whether somebody says you're an asshole, I don't care, because it's the truth. Right? I mean, it won't be the first time I was called that, but it's the truth. And that's what the doc here. I've been in the business many years. Okay. And I've seen a lot, heard a lot, been through a lot. And I believe you guys deserve the justice that is out there. And I believe the injustice is the lack of support, and then trying to bullshit your way and tell me there is support. So I think it's wrong. So let me ask you this. What are some of the key lessons, Lyia, that you've learned along the way that you wish somebody had told you when you first started?
Not to get into the music industry? No. Okay, seriously? I wish someone had told me that there is never going to be a time that you have arrived. Oh, I've arrived. There's never going to be a time, because for every success, there's a new set of problems that will pose itself to you, will be presented to you. And at every turn, you cannot rest on your laurels at all. Even if you are doing a cover band, you cannot. Anytime the rug can be pulled out from under your feet. And I wish someone had told me that it's really hard work and there's a lot of sacrifices in the sense where I don't get to clock in and clock out of this job. I am in it 24/7, 365 days. I live and breathe music, which means off the stage, I'm listening to new stuff that I can to add to my repertoire, or I'm writing new music. We're always doing something, watching videos on music, learning watching concerts, doing whatever we need to do. Your home, I mean, for me, my home is my office. So
Yes.
you don't get to rest. You don't get to tune out. You don't get to go home and spend time with the family and have a nice dinner. You're talking shop all the time.
Yes.
And especially for me, because my family is, we are together as a band. Because of that, it gets to be very stressful. So nobody gave me that warning. It gets to be a little bit overwhelming sometimes, because at any given day, you are always plotting for the next, there's a word for it. It feels like you're trudging through really thick mud. What then when you hit that plateau? You have to really, it's hard to do it. It's easy to do it. I hate to say this because then it makes me sound like I'm old, but I'm not. But it gets to be very tiring after a while, and after a long while performing, it gets harder to do it. It gets harder to take your music to the next level. It gets harder and harder. It's not easier. It's not like, oh no, you've been doing it for 10 years or 15 years. It should be easy peasy for you guys. You know how to. No, it gets harder because your fans don't want to come and listen to you do the same stuff all the time. Yep. They want something new, or they want you to wow them further, because you can be doing your best show and you tell yourself, this is my best show so far. And your fans are not going to say, wow, that's the best show so far. I've not seen her at that peak condition or whatever. They're not going to say that, because they come to your show expecting that or more. And so when you give that, and you know how much it took for you to give that, when you give that, it's like, oh, okay, so what's next?
Yeah.
That I think is very hard. That is very hard.
Yep.
I wish someone would have told me that, because that's not easy. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Also, I think also when you give a lot of yourself, you have to put something back. You cannot give and not put things back. And I've been fortunate in a sense, but I think I've seen a lot of people who try to put back something, and then that's where all the negative things come into your life,
Yes.
Because you give so much of yourself, there's nothing left for you. So you need to feel happy. It's just natural.
Right.
So what do? You have to find things to, make yourself happy. And that's where a lot of negative stuff come into your life. I think so.
No, I agree. And a lot of times we end up, burning the candle at both ends. And then it's, what do you have when it reached the center? It's all burned up, And, speaking of that burning up, let's burn up the airways now with Is Always You by Lyia Meta.
One and one is always two. It's very simple. It's always you. Sometimes my eyes may wander, my gaze may stray and linger long longer, but always what I really want to see is your loving eyes looking back at me. It's nothing new, it's what we do. It's always you. Someone may smile and flatter me, kind words, talk and sincerity, but always I feel you very near where I am. Soon you'll be standing here. It's nothing new, it's what we do. It's always you. We step as one as we climb the ladder. Yesterday and today and forever after, we're always me. And we're always you. Eternally. That's what we do. It's always you. Some say my sultry song intrigues. They believe what they want to see, but always it's not just about me. They create their own fantasy. It's nothing new, it's what we do. It's always you. It's what we do. It's always you. One and one is always two. It's very simple. It's always you.
I like when I can lead into that like that. Makes that transition good. So,
Yes.
so the ones of us, that have been in the music industry and have been there quite a while and have done the struggles and ups and downs and the ins and outs and going in that quicksand, like you were said, trying to drudge through it and get out of it. The music industry is nowadays is filled with just screwed up contracts. shitty deals, shady promoters, shady promotions. And this is all real. I mean, people think, this is the truth. So Lyia, tell the doctor about an experience you've had with that subject.
When, okay, all my gigs, all my contracts, I get on my own. I do my own marketing. I do my own cold calls. I do it on my own simply because I've worked with agents and I don't get paid. Or you get paid a fraction of what you were promised, with the promise that you will get paid the following week and the following week and the following, and it doesn't, it never materializes. And then the following week will finally come to the date where you should get your next paycheck, and you still have not collected your paycheck for the last month. So it came to a point where I refused to work with agents, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't work as much as a lot of other musicians that I know right now, because I still am a little bit reluctant to work with with managers, because they are very, to begin with, they're not doing the job. Okay.
Right.
They're not the ones standing on stage. This is how I look at it. I don't know about the managers there, but here, they are not doing, if they are going to get you a gig or at a festival or at a huge show that has got artists from all over the world performing, or whatever, a huge venue that comes to a couple of $1,000s or something like that, it's different. But if you're going to manage a band at a club, which pays not so great, but great enough, and then you're going to shave off their pay on top, you're going to take their pay, right?
Right.
What are you doing? They are doing all the hard work. Now, this is where a lot of musicians don't seem to understand here. They need you. You don't need them.
Right.
Right. They need, we are the ones, if we stuck together and we worked together and told them and made sure that they paid you on time, or that we had a union or such. We don't have a union. Then you won't be taken for a ride each time. But it's a different story here. It's like, oh no, I want to work with an agent because I wouldn't want to go out and look for my own gigs and stuff like that, because a lot of them don't have the time, or they are good at music but they are not good at marketing themselves. Fair enough. But what they're also doing is they are killing the market, because if you charge $1,000 a night US for a show, the agent is going to give you half of that, and he's going to take 500 US. You are lucky if you get the 500 US. You are lucky. But it's not all agents. There are some agents that are good. It's just that I've not come across them. That's all. So that is on the top of the question they asked me. That's how my experience has been. So I do all my marketing. I do all my cold calls, and I do everything on my own. Both Zach and I, we do that on our own because it's easier that way. But if you have an agent that's already holding the place, like there's a word for it here, like he's running the whole show there with the management, there's no way you can get in.
No,
there is no way.
Yeah. No, and you're right. They take so much of your money, and if the doctor of the days had come across an agent like that I was getting $1,000 gig and paying me $500, I'd drag his ass back in the alley and shoot his ass. Just plain and simple.
Wow, can't do that.
I'm just kidding.
Can't do that,
I wouldn't be talking to you if I did that. You know what I'm saying? I'd be
okay, I know.
Maybe someplace with bars, I'd be talking to you, but that's what you feel like doing. It's just like, I just performed for 3 hours and you're taking half my money for what?
Yeah.
But a lot of bands think they need that management. They think that without my management, I wouldn't get this gig. If without my management, I would have never been signed to this residency. And again, going back, I mean, for somebody to be booked 6 months to a year at a place in advance, even though it doesn't matter what music you were doing, doesn't matter whose music you were doing, it was your voice that kept the people coming. And that's what you have to look at. Just like you said, I sang it in my voice.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. Well, that's the reason that people came, right? So that was a great thing, is that they still came to listen to you. And for you to hold a residency that long and be invited back is phenomenal, because I know back in the day with my band, if we would have been in a residency, probably for me and because of me, we'd have been out the first week. It would have been just that easy. It would have been trouble. Believe me that. The doctor would have caused a lot of trouble, and they would have kicked our asses out. But anyway, I give you thumbs up for that. You're great.
Thank you.
So we're going to flip just a little more switch on you, and we're going to go to a question that brings in the really dark side, the dark side, where a lot of people thinks it's all fun, the old adage, drugs, sex, and rock and roll. But the really dark side of the music industry, and with artists, musicians, bands, is addiction. It is alcohol. It's the drugs. And a lot of people don't understand too that a lot of it's there waiting for you backstage when you get off, before you get on, people giving it to you. It's always around. It's not like you're out seeking it on a street corner to get the drugs. And when it's so readily available, and managers do it, roadies do it, for the band, they find it, they get it, they have it, they know exactly what they need, what they want. It's ready for them before they go on stage. It's backstage for them. So Lyia, tell the doctor, have you or somebody that's close to you, has succumbed to that dark side of the addiction world of rock and roll?
Oh, I've seen many of them who have gone that route. I think they think it should be. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I was just doing that because it just blows your mind. It's just like.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they think it comes with the job.
Yep.
And that they should be a part of the movement or the whatever
lifestyle.
The lifestyle, that's right. It's the lifestyle, and they don't want to seem odd not doing it. My dad ruined his entire life doing drugs. He started with marijuana, but he was a child of the 60s. And, from marijuana, it went on to, at that time, went on to something else. And he never left it. So I've seen that. And when he finally did leave it, he needed something else to replace it. And so he was very heavy into drinking.
Yep.
So I've seen how that can ruin families. But I've had friends in the industry who died because of this. Extremely talented musicians who died, but they couldn't function without having that 2 bottles of whiskey before getting on stage. They won't be able to play the magic that they do on stage without that. So I don't drink and I don't smoke. As a result of that, I refuse to drink, I refuse to smoke. And to tell, I don't find anything exciting about drinking. Smoking is something but I have seen that all happen right in front of me. And I think for musicians, it's hard to say no, because when you get off the stage, I don't know I've not had the experience of meeting, being in a situation where the roadies are supplying you, or the managers behind the stage are supplying you. I've not had that kind of a situation here. But I think a lot of musicians get off the stage here, and then they have everybody wanting to buy you a drink. Now, this is where it's really sad. They'll rather buy you a drink than buy your CD.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll say, no, I don't want to buy your CD, but I'll buy you a beer, or I'll buy you a whiskey, or come and have a whiskey with me. Come finish the whole bottle with me, whatever. And it's not just them, you have to go from table to table, meeting a lot of people. And by the end of the night, you get on stage, you can't play the chords right. You're all over the chord. You're not singing right. We are happy, but it's not about the music anymore.
No.
So and then all those people who are buying you those drinks and buying you all those and showing their appreciation. I mean, I've got nothing against that. everybody does what they want to do, but the appreciation, it's a double-edged sword. You go into that, and then they go home and they got families, and then they are fine. They don't come out and drink for the next 5 days or 6 days. It's fine. But you are going to a gig tomorrow, and you're going to gig the next day and next day and next day, and you're going to repeat the same thing day in and day out for hours on end, and you're going to pay for it at some point. You won't pay for it today. Maybe 10 years down the line, you'll pay for it. You lose your voice, or, you got kidney problems, you got liver problems, all sorts of things. You end up in a hospital. Nobody's going to pay your bills. Then you have people who want to help you. The government helps you and gives you $1,000 to help elevate your problems. But it didn't have to come to that if you just from the get-go didn't do all the things that you did.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of willpower actually to say no.
No, well,
and
you get caught up into that.
Yeah, you get caught up. Yeah, you get caught up. It's not like you. It's not like, okay,
I plan to do this. I plan to get into this. I plan to do it this much. I plan to get, become addicted to it. But see, here in the States, it's not the drinking. It's the heroin. And then it goes to meth, and back in the day it was crack and cocaine, and so the problem and drink. When you're doing those, you're drinking too. Okay, I mean, you're getting so high, you got to drink to bring yourself back down. You get so down, you got to do something to get back high again, and so it's a constant thing. And not only roadies and managers, but you've got the people that DeGreeton meets. And the people that are hanging out backstage have the backstage passes. Well, they have little packets and stuff in their pocket they want to give you because they're your fan, and they want to say, hey, dude. And just like the ones that buying you drinks, it's not, and that won't buy your CD. It's because they want to have that interaction with you. It's not like, oh, I got the CD. Great. No, I got to sit down with Lyia Meta and talk with her for a freaking half hour. That's worth it to me to spend, $100 on drinks with her than buy her freaking CD for $20 or $25 or whatever it is. See,
I will sit down and speak to anybody for half an hour. You don't have to buy my CD, but if I like your company, I will sit down with you and talk to you for half an hour or 1 hour. You have to get me to keep quiet.
Yeah, I could see that. I really could see that. So I'm gonna ask you a question. And usually I say I know the answer to this one, but I don't with you, because I believe I do because your determination. I want to say again one more time, guys. Your determination and your love for your family has driven you where you're at, and is going to drive you to where you want to go, because just the love that you have for your family alone, of taking care of them, making sure they're okay, making sure they have what they need, because maybe in the past it always wasn't that way, but you're doing everything you humanly can do for your family, which in turn is your music. And that's phenomenal. And again, I want to stress how, it makes my heart feel to hear that, and to really meet somebody that has that deep, honest love for their family, that would go out of their way to do anything possible to make sure they had what they needed to have. So, Lyia, that's just phenomenal. But my question to you is, have you ever got to a point in your career, in your journey through the Alice in Wonderland maze of music, where you just said, I'm done, fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore.
Oh, yes, I have been there. And I'll be on the floor and I'll be crying, and I'm crying my eyes out. And I'll be railing and I'll be screaming at everybody within earshot, because I'm a one-man show as far as my music is concerned. My own music is concerned. I'm a one-man show, and it gets to be overwhelming at times, to the point where I get into this real depressive episodes where I will not be able to dig myself out of. Okay, I can't. I mean, I'm always smiling on social media. That's why I always tell people, don't believe everything you see on social media. Now, I am who I am, negative and positive. I always believe in sending out positive messages about life and things. But personally, I've struggled with depression a lot, and a lot of it comes from being in the music industry and the way people treat people. And I hate it when people treat people badly.
Yes.
I'm one of those people who, when I get into a place and I see people being treated badly, it ruins my entire day, and everything is derailed almost immediately. So that's when my partner comes in the picture and picks up the pieces, and he will say, he will let me go into that deep dark pit and wallow in misery, whatever not, and he'll let me do that and rail and rant and do whatever I need to do. But he will wait maybe 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, and then he'll say, this has to stop, get out of it, you got a job to do, move on, you signed up for this, you got no right. I mean, it's okay to feel sorry and bad and whatever you want to do, but you do not get the option or the choice to do this, because at the end of the day, it is not just about you. You have your whole family with you. You have everybody around you who's depending on you to be strong, so to speak. So I wouldn't go as far, but I said if I had a choice, I wouldn't want to be here anymore. So that's akin to saying that you want to die.
Oh,
but
no.
That could be a little bit drama. No,
Oh,
that could be a
yeah.
little bit dramatic. That could be a little bit dramatic. No, it could be a little bit dramatic. That's what I say. That could be the creative person in me that's all going, but he lets me do whatever I need to do, let it all out and all that. Then he says, no, you got to pick yourself up and you got to go back to it, because you decided to do this, and so you're on this road. You just keep going. Don't think too much about all the other things that are affecting you. Just keep going. And that's where I learned. Now I have less episodes where I get depressed, because I've learned to not allow myself to be influenced by what's happening around me or be affected by what's happening around me. I have told myself 1 step a day.
Yes.
That's all it takes.
Yep.
Just look at what you're doing, and that 1 step a day is fine. Because you must understand where I'm coming from. I'm not only an independent musician, so to speak. I'm also a live performer that's performing constantly for a long period of time and doing gigs. And so living out of suitcases was at some point too much for me. And I was also a filial daughter, good wife, fantastic mother. And my son is on the spectrum. So I homeschooled him for all the years, and it took a lot out of me. So all those little things, that add up. And yes, I wanted to throw in the towel many, many a time, to the point where I also wanted to walk out of the life.
Yeah.
Not just throw in the towel, just walk out of the life. Don't look back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I had done that, I wouldn't have met all the amazing people that I know now.
Yeah, that's true. And no, that's very, very true. And the reason you didn't do it was the determination, the love of your music and what you do. And your partner let you wallow for 3 or 4 days and then picked you up and told you to get your shit together, because he believes in you and what you put out. And that's the things you have to look at. And we all have those times where your face, ground on the floor, doing whatever, but you pick yourselves back up, because it's like, I believe in what I do. I believe in myself. I believe in my band, whatever the case may be. And it's all about the love that you have for the music. And come flying at you now is Lyia Meta with For You.
Are you thinking of me now? Are you wondering what I'm doing? And are you asking yourself how I got enough to stop fooling around. Do you miss my loving ways and all the things I tried to do, and all those special nights and days? Do you think I found somebody new? Don't you realize that the tears I cry for you and this emptiness was once happiness for you? Would you listen to my words? Could I have a second chance? Despite I made you hurt, I wanna say I'm sorry, but I can't. Don't you realize that my goodbye was said in anger? My pride was hurt. It was not the first time I cried for you. Do you wish on the stars to have me back? If you do, I want to know. 'Cause I have to know how you'd react if I told you I still love you. I still love you so. Don't you realize that I had to try to live without you? Now I miss your touch. I'm crazy for you. Are you thinking of me now? Are you wondering what I'm doing? Are you asking yourself how we can find love again? I'm still crazy, so crazy. For you.
Doctor loves that one. I love that one. So Lyia, give our listeners the info where to find your music, and in videos, any merchandise, because the doc loves to support all the artists that he comes in contact with, because I believe it's important, and I know a lot of our listeners do too, and especially with your voice and the songs you've got out there. Tell us where we can go to find you and anything else you have to offer for us.
I'm on all streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. You can buy my music, download it. I don't have physical merchandise. I don't have physical CDs or merchandise because I never really went into that. I tried it once, I never went to that. Social media, that's LYIAMETA across the board, everywhere from linked to anywhere that you can get a social gathering, I'm there.
That's awesome. No, that's great. And you heard it, listeners. You heard very simple way to find her. So make sure you look for that and you tune in and connect with her on that. Are you, and I hate to ask you this because I think you've already answered this through our interview, but are you still playing live gigs?
Yeah, I am. I'm playing live gigs.
I thought you were. I thought you were. And the reason I asked that is because please, if you can't do it now, give your information of your gigs to the doctor, and I'll post those out, because I think any listeners out there that are going to be in the area that you were at definitely needs to come and see you. Hear that, guys? Go see her. If you're anywhere near her, definitely go check her out live, because it will not be a disappointment. That I guarantee you, that's a promise from the doctor, like 100%. So, Lyia, unless you know now and tell us a couple gigs coming up, give the info to the doctor and I'll get it posted. So I'm going to flick it back to you. You got any dates coming up? Any places?
No, I'm singing every Wednesday at the Saints. That's in Hartamas. That's in Kuala Lumpur. It's a nice, quaint little place that's located on the first floor, but really very, very good crowd. And I've got a Christmas party coming up at the same place on the 27th. And next year I have a couple of shows lined up. For now, no, nothing else beyond that. But next year I've got a couple of shows lined up with a bigger band. And I'll be doing a lot of classic rock, because there's a huge fan base for classic rock here. And then in the middle of that all, you will find me doing my stuff.
That's awesome. That's exactly what I was waiting to hear. And it's okay that you're slowing down towards the end of the year. We've got the holidays coming up. You got a couple nice gigs lined in there, and then and I know you're going to spend a great amount of time with your family. You guys are going to have a great time and a great holidays together. So the doctor's really happy for that, and I'm really happy for your career, the way it's going. I'm happy the way that you handle your career and how the way you look at your career. That again is something that gives me determination to put this message out to all the other bands and artists, because there's artists that are already there. There's artists that are going to be starting up, but I think you've opened up a lot of doors that they need to listen to. So the doctor really wants to thank Lyia Meta for being on his show tonight. It's been fantastic. And tonight for me, I should say, and morning for Miss Lyia.
I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself with not topics, questions that aren't usually asked. Ugly, good, and bad. The good, bad, and the ugly. Yes.
That's right. See, and the doctor makes it that way. We don't want to be black and white robotic with you guys. And you did phenomenal. And I want to thank you again. So
thank you.
The doctor thanks Ms. Lyia for being on his show. He also wants to thank Dogbone Studio, MM Radio, Magpie Sally, Matt R., which is the doc's guru tech to keep him on the air. The doc will be back next Friday. And in the meantime, guys, be kind to each other, and you always keep on rocking. And the doc and Miss Lyia Meta are out of the building. Take care, guys. See you next Friday.
Bye.
The good, bad, and the ugly with Dr. Dawg on MM, the show where we get real about the ups and downs of band life.
To infinity and tastiness with MM Radio.